What's up, everybody? Welcome to Main Street Fire Rescue. We're in service on a weekend. Got something totally different today. It's crazy. It's the weekends. We're not doing any theme parking or anything like that. I don't know, maybe later if I feel up to it. But everything's crowded. It's cheer weekend, you name it. All that crap going on. So everything's pretty much assholes to elbows. So I thought, you know what I should do? Let's go and do a little bowling. I haven't bowled in forever. It's one of my favorite things to do. I've been bowling pretty much since I was old enough to know what to do. Basically roll a bowling ball into a bunch of pins. So I've bowled all my life. Pretty much started, like I said, when I was, barely even able to stand. I would sit in the basement with my grandfather, and he knew somebody that worked at his bowling alley, which anybody from the northern part of Indiana, LaPorte, Indiana, there was a bowling alley that sadly they tore down probably a year or two ago, but it was a big part of my childhood. It was called Thunderbird Lanes. And my grandfather bowled leagues there, and he knew the guy in the pro shop, and basically what he did was he gave my grandfather a couple of old pins that they were going to throw away, and then he had an old ball that he didn't use, old house ball, which house ball is a term for the ball they have here in the bowling alley. And basically gave him all that stuff, and we would sit down in the basement, and I would sit on my ass and roll the ball at him, and knock the pins over. He'd set them back up and repeat. And then when I was finally old enough to stand and fling a ball, it all started. I've bowled state tournaments. I've bowled, various other tournaments. Even one year tried to qualify for the U.S. Open, which is no easy task, let me tell you. So it's been a while since I've been out. So I thought, well, let's try this today. So I'm here in Claremont at one of their bowling alleys here at Claremont Bowling Center. Open bowl till 6 p.m. So I'm going to bring you all along and we'll show you a few things. Let's get inside. It's 188.
almost 2 years. So for those that have never bowled before, use these dots and the boards down here to line your feet up. And the idea is you want to be looking at a target down there on the lane somewhere. So like for me, my target is usually right over the second arrow, or depending on the oil, between the second and third arrow, but it'll also bring it out and in. But it also depends on the kind of oil that they're using, the conditions of the lane. There's so much involved in this, but just things I've picked up over the years of doing this. So they're playing music really loud in here, so I'll go explain this in the car. I'll see you shortly.
All right, well, I tell you what, if you've ever bowled by yourself, or even in a league, and you're going one after the other, because usually leagues and tournaments, it goes, somebody will start off by throwing the first ball, and then somebody else throw the second ball, and then on and on. So it's usually 2-2-2 all the way to the 10th frame. When you're bowling by yourself and you're slinging a 15, 16 pound ball around, it's work, man. I was working up a good sweat in there. It's a good workout. But anyway, for those that might be new to bowling, have never bowled, we'll go over a few things while I got a second in the car here. It is a whole lot more than just slinging a weighted ball down an alley at some pins. It's very strategic. All of the oil patterns, change how you're going to throw your ball. In fact, the way, like when you get to the level of, let's say professional, but when you start bowling for, tournaments, and you really want to start getting really good into it, this is how I have mine set up. This is the Storm High Road. This is old. I've had this ball since 2009, I believe, and it still smells like blueberries. That's one of the things the Storm bowling balls are known for, is their smells. This was actually recommended to me by a pro back in Indiana, in Lafayette, Indiana, where he was watching me throw a ball, and because I was trying to find my next one. Usually I'll carry 3 or 4 of them with me, and each one of these has to do with the lane conditions. When you're doing open bowling like tonight, and you're going off of just general oil patterns, usually you can get by with one. If I'd have had my other one, which is a Brunswick Zone, that one's more of a, it's not so much shiny, it's more of a dull urethane finish. That one might have bit a little better. This one started to grab though as we got on, and I started getting an oil pattern going. But you can see I got a thumb insert here, and then the inserts here are just for my fingertips. That's all that goes in there, and that's so when you release the ball, that's what gives you the lift, is just your 2 fingers. If you have your hands, you'll notice a lot of what they call the house balls that are in the bowling alleys. And I wish I could do this inside, but the music is so loud. It's actually packed. I did not expect a Saturday afternoon to be that crowded in the bowling alley, so we're doing it out in the car. But the house balls, you basically go in up to the second knuckle. When you have that, you can't get any lift on the ball and spin. Right here, these fingertips, that's what that and the strength of your arm and wrist, what gives you the spin of the ball. And then he helped me out with something here. The way these balls are designed, they're designed for various oil patterns and hook. So what he did was he drew in, this is an axis hole right here, and obviously you don't put any fingers or anything in there. This is strictly designed to help the ball. Once it gets a certain way down the alley, it basically turns over. And what we mean by that is the ball, it goes from basically more of sliding sideways to it basically rolls over, and then it starts moving forward. And that's what you get your so instead of it going like this, it goes like this, and then it turns over and goes like that. And that's where you get your pin action, is when it just plows into the pocket. So this helps with that. So you can see there's a lot to it. This is not like there's so much more. And then to even take it a step further, you have different oil patterns, and these are professionals. Okay, you won't see these on a regular day like today, but like for example, this is a cheetah pattern. I'm using this as an example, but if you've ever watched bowling on TV now, they're able to highlight the oil, and so that's what it looks like on TV. But basically it shows you where the heaviest oil is, and then where it starts to lighten up, and then this is what they call the backside. There's very minimal oil down there, so this is where you have to throw it through.
And depending on your style, you know, if you drop the ball here, you know, you got to get it through the heavy oil, which you're going to slide out a little bit, and then you're going to have a huge back end. Or if you start here, you can go up to the middle and then in that way. Or if you're like me, I go right up the side. That's I've been my throwing style since day one. That's the Walter Ray Williams Jr. and the Norm Duke style. Not very flashy, but it works. If you stay, you can see right where that oil is really thin right there. You can get it right in there. Now they have other patterns, like for example, this is the shark pattern, which you can see that's way different. You got a lot more heavier oil deep down the alley. But they say that the cheetah and the shark are the two biggest scoring ones. They're the ones that usually yield the highest scores. But you can see how it's kind of light here, but then on the sides it's heavy. So this is where you need more of a urethane style hook ball, where you're going to go out into the oil and let it hit the oil, then grab the backside and snap in real quick. So you have to totally change your style when you're doing this, and you have to think on the fly. You know, like for me, it's hard to see because the way I had the camera angled, I was hoping it wouldn't be so busy. I was going to have more of a broad view, but I had the lane to myself for a few minutes, and then the people came in, and so I tried to keep the other alley out of view. I don't know if it picked it up. We'll see what happens when I get home, but I wanted you to get an idea of like how I throw the ball and what it looks like. Again, I didn't do too bad. I averaged about probably 180. You know, my first couple games were all around the 170s. Last two are 182, 188. For me, that's not great. I'm normally in the 200s, but you know, for having not thrown a bowling ball in 2 years, I'm not gonna bitch at all. Like I said, for me, it's pretty easy. I pick it up and I just start flinging it. So it's kind of like riding a bicycle. So I hope you all enjoyed that. If you have any questions, message me in the comments. Let me know. You like to bowl? You ever bowl? You want to bowl? Want to know something more about it? Let me know. I hope you all enjoyed this vlog. Lots more to come. And I thought it was very appropriate. Whoever, you know, shout out to whoever was picking the music. It was mostly Toby Keith songs. And for those that don't know, Toby Keith passed away not too long ago. He will be greatly missed. He was a huge artist and big time, one of my favorites. I actually saw him about 5 different times throughout the course that he was touring. So he's going to be greatly missed on tour and in the music industry and everything. And so somebody played a whole bunch of Toby Keith songs, and it was amazing. So, you know, shout out to Toby Keith. He was one of the greats. He'd be missed. And so I'm going to start ending videos with, you know, kind of how he would, you know, in the words of Toby Keith. I'll finish it out, but I will see you all very soon. Thank you very much. Have a fantastic weekend. Main Street Fire Rescue, out of service. And people, never apologize for being patriotic. Screw them.